live from the new sports betting capital of the world.
You might be from Texas, but I'm from New Jersey.
Benny Ricciardi is here to break down the day's betting board for you.
Let's go, Jerry. Go!
Taking a first look at the day's bets, it's time for the FTN Betting Show. Welcome to the FTNBets Cast for Tuesday, April 19th here at FTN Bets. We have a nice slate of 3 NBA games going on tonight, and we're going to start right there by talking about the 3 NBA playoff games we have here tonight. First one up is the Atlanta Hawks against the Miami Heat. Miami won the first game 115-91. It was not competitive pretty much throughout that game. A lot of weird things happened in that game. First off, no Clint Capella for the Atlanta Hawks. Clint Capella got hurt in their play-in game the other day, and they had to start Okongwu, the young kid that was in there. He played okay early on in that game, but you could tell they definitely missed Capella. They wound up losing the rebounding battle to the Miami Heat there, something that Atlanta normally does pretty well. It was close. I think it was only like 2 or 3 rebounds, but still, you know, that's an advantage that Atlanta normally has that they gave up to Miami. They're a team that normally doesn't have that advantage in rebounding. And it just added to, Miami kind of rolling them in that game here. Trae Young shot 1 of 12 in that game, had 8 points, had a plus minus of 22, negative 22. I'm sorry. So he played very badly for Atlanta. One of the reasons why they lost. Now, do I think they can turn it around? I mean, do I think they play better? Yes, I do think they will play better. I don't think we get another 1 of 12 shooting night from Trae Young. Although, I mean, Miami did basically try to take the ball out of his hands. That was part of their game plan there. There were only 3 guys on the Atlanta Hawks that even scored in double digits in this game, and it was all the forwards. It was DeAndre Hunter, I think, led the team. I'm sorry. Danilo Gallinari led the team with 17 or 18 points. DeAndre Hunter had 14. John Collins, who's back and came off the bench in that game, had 10. I think those were the only 3 Hawks players that were in double figures in this game. And obviously that's a big reason why they wound up losing this game. Miami on the other side actually shot the ball incredibly well. You had guys like PJ Tucker go 4 of 4 from 3-pointer and put up double-digit points. Duncan Robinson was unbelievable. I think he hit 8 3. I think it was 8 of 9 from downtown, scored like 27 points in that first game there. Jimmy Butler was the only starter for Miami that played over 30 minutes because they didn't really need those guys to play over 30 minutes. Everybody got a chance to play. Everybody played pretty well. The starters were resting on the bench at the end of that game. Miami is a lot better than Atlanta, especially without Clint Capella in there and, John Collins being less than 100%. I just don't think that this Atlanta team has enough firepower here. The spread on this game is anywhere between 7.5 out there in the market. You can get some sevens right at 110, minus 110. Some of the 7.5s are even sitting at minus 110 right now. That's why I really like the Miami Heat minus 7 on Caesars and Unibet, and even Bet Rivers and Sugar House. You can get this at minus 110 for minus 7. You look at like PointsBet, MGM, FanDuel. They have this moved up to 7.5 already, and PointsBet is 7.5 minus 110. BetMGM and FanDuel juice down a little bit, minus 106, minus 105. But the best price you could play on this number is Miami, minus 7, minus 110, Caesars, Unibet, Sugar House, Bet Rivers. I like that bet a lot. That's one of the ones that I took here today. The other bet that I took in this game is Bam Adebayo over 3.5 assists for plus 110. Bam had, I think, 5 assists in the first game. And I feel like this is a good number for him here because one of the advantages that he has, especially against a guy like Okongwu, is that Bam can put the ball on the floor. Bam can drive to the basket. Bam could post up and find guys that are open. That's one of the things he does extremely well. He has good ball handling skills. He has good court vision, and he can pass. And then you have all these other guys on the team that are out there knocking down shots, knocking down threes as well, which only makes it easier for him to get these assists. Like I said, he had 5 in the last game. 3.5 is the number here. And we're getting it at plus money on FanDuel and BetMGM at plus 110. So I like Bam Adebayo over 3.5 assists to go along with the minus 7 on the Miami Heat. Those are the 2 bets that I'm making here on this game. Over under on this game, 219. If you're looking to play an over, DraftKings and FanDuel have it at the lowest number there, 219 minus 110. If you're looking to play an under here, BetMGM has it at 219.5 for minus 110. So that's where you would want to play the under on this one. The Heat are minus 750 to win the series now with a 1-0 lead. I mean, listen, I don't think Atlanta's going to come back. You can get them at like plus 500 if you're interested in going that route. I think Miami wins the series at this point at minus 750. Not really worth it to put any more money on that. So let's talk about the next game. This is probably going to be the best game of the night. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Minnesota stunned Memphis in the first game with a 130-117 win. Minnesota shot 50% from the field in that game, 39% from three. Memphis shot 45% from the field, 29% from three. And that kind of makes up the difference in the points there for you. The other thing I wanted to mention is Memphis got their butts kicked on the boards. Minnesota 46-35 rebounding advantage in that first game as well. You know, Steven Adams played 20 something minutes. I think he had 0 points. I don't even know if he had a shot attempt. Maybe 3 or 4 rebounds is all he had. And then you look at the other side of the game with Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns had 29 points. I think he had 13 or 14 rebounds in that game. Just an absolute dominant performance from him. And, you know, you can't have a player lose their individual matchup that badly and expect to win the game. So hopefully Steven Adams plays a little better tonight. Otherwise, you know, this one could get ugly again here. So anyway, I like Minnesota getting +7 over on PointsBet here. That's the highest number. A lot of 6.5s on minus 110 out there in the market. FanDuel has it juiced up at like minus 114. PointsBet has the +7 at minus 110. So to me, that's the best number out there. And I want to be on the Minnesota side of this. Now, again, I'm not saying Minnesota wins this game too. I don't think they go 2-0 against Memphis in Memphis and then go back to Minnesota. If they do, they're going to have a really good chance to win the series. And we'll talk about the series prices here in a minute. But more importantly, 7 just seems like a lot of points here for me. During the regular season, I 100% agree Memphis was the better team than Minnesota. But you know what? Minnesota's got a lot of good pieces. They got a lot of young players, and those players are playing well. They didn't even get a great game out of D'Angelo Russell in the first game when they won there. It was basically a lot of Anthony Edwards and a lot of Karl-Anthony Towns. And I mean, listen, those are both former #1 overall picks right there. So, you know, those two guys can play. Then even D'Angelo Russell was a former #2 overall pick. There is a lot of talent on this Minnesota Timberwolves team. It's a lot of young talent. They're probably still a couple years away from being at their peak. But listen, you know, they're playing hard. They're playing well. And like I said, they have a lot of talent on this team. So don't count them out. I like Minnesota. I am willing to take the +7 that I'm getting on them. PointsBet minus 110, best place to play that there. If you happen to be on the Grizzlies side, now again, I agree. I don't think the Grizzlies go down 2-0. I think the Grizzlies have a good chance to win this game. I just don't think they're going to blow Minnesota out in this game. I think it's going to be close. 6.5 just felt like too many points for me to lay with the Grizzlies here. You can get that -6.5 at minus 110 on most books out there. DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, Unibet, Sugar House. You know, most of the books have it sitting there. The outlier is where you can see the, you know, the -7s, +7s, or anything like that. But 6.5 is pretty much the standard number on this game at minus 110. Only other thing I'm betting in this game besides the Minnesota +7 on PointsBet, Karl-Anthony Towns double-double, even money on DraftKings. His rebounding number is 9.5, and, you know, it's minus 110, as high as minus 135 in some places. I am not worried about Karl-Anthony Towns scoring 10 points. If Karl-Anthony Towns is on the floor long enough to get 10 rebounds, Karl-Anthony Towns is going to score his 10 points. So I like the payout on DraftKings at even money for the double-double. Way better than I like taking some of these 9.5s at like minus 130 or minus 125. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So Karl-Anthony Towns double-double, plus 100, and he's going to have like 8 rebounds and 11 assists tonight and win it that way for us. Not that I think that's very likely, but hey, you even got another way to get there. Like I said, if he's on the floor long enough to get 10 rebounds, he's going to score 10 points. So I'm not really worried about it. Take the better payout. DraftKings, Towns, double-double, plus 100. One of my favorite bets here tonight. So anyway, let's talk about the over-under here. 240 is the lowest number if you want to play an over. FanDuel has it there. 241 is the highest number if you want to play an under. Both DraftKings and Caesars have it there. But I said I was going to come back to the series price here. A lot of people expected Memphis to win the series. A lot of people still expect Memphis to win the series, me being one of them. They're down to minus 125. I mean, I don't mind it, but I don't exactly think it's a great number here. They're down 1-0 already. This is a little more of an evenly matched series than I think people are giving it credit for. Yes, I think Memphis is the better team, but I do think Minnesota is playing better at the moment right now. And you know what? You get hot. Momentum in the playoffs is definitely real. Memphis is a young team. It's not like they're filled with a bunch of veterans that have been here before. So I could definitely see a letdown happening here. Again, I like Memphis. I think Memphis wins. I don't want to take the minus 125 on them. If I was going to take a number, I would actually rather take the plus 105. And let me explain why. Let's say Memphis does lose this game here today. Minnesota, which you can get at plus 105 right now, would then be up 2-0 going back to Minnesota, where they're going to have the predominant amount of home games for the rest of the series. And they already have a 2-game advantage here. Sitting on Minnesota at plus 105 up 2-0 makes a lot more sense to me than sitting on Memphis 1-1 going back to Minnesota to play game 3 here. Now, again, I'm not saying that Memphis is a bad bet at 125, or actually I am saying that Memphis is a bad bet at 125. If it was even money, yeah, I'd be all over the Memphis side of this. At minus 125, though, I just don't think you're getting much of a value there. So this is a number that's sucking a lot of people in. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad number. I'm not saying that you're an idiot for taking it. I just don't think there's a lot of value there. And when I make a bet, I want to have some value on my side. I want to know that there's a little cushion, a little margin for error there. And I feel like this is a properly priced number at minus 125. So again, I think Memphis does win the series. I'm not saying don't do it. I just don't think minus 125 is a great price for you to take them at. And that brings us to our last game here. The New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix won that first game 110-99. And I got to be honest with you guys, like it really wasn't even that close. If you watch that game throughout, I mean, there were points and times there where Phoenix was up 15, 20 points and they were cruising. You know, they were another team that kind of, you know, played a bunch of guys in this game. They let a lot of guys play, although the starters did play big minutes. The starters were in the 30s and 40s. It wasn't like Miami where, you know, most of the starters didn't even play 30 minutes except for Jimmy Butler. You know, these guys actually were out there on the floor. They were out there playing. They were, you know, putting up their numbers and all that. I honestly didn't feel like we saw Phoenix at their best, and they still wound up winning this game pretty easily. Not that they played badly, just like, you know, I think they came out really well at the beginning of the game and then just were kind of able to put it in cruise control there. You know, the New Orleans Pelicans have a couple good players here, but it's basically Jonas Valanciunas, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and then the rest of the guys that are just slotting in there to kind of suck up some minutes and take up some time and be out there on the floor. And that's what I think the problem is for the Pelicans. I just think they don't have as deep a team to be able to go up there. And Phoenix, with some very good defensive players, is able to slow down or take a few of those guys out of the game. You know, it just makes it tough for them. If you're not getting 25, 30 points out of Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and probably 20 to 25 out of Jonas Valanciunas, I don't even think New Orleans can stay in these games. And that's basically what they got out of those three guys in the last game. And they still wound up losing that game by double digits. Now, the big problem I have here, though, I don't want to lay 9.5 points. Do I think Phoenix wins? Absolutely. Do I think Phoenix probably has a chance to win this game, you know, by double digits? Yeah, I do. But 9.5 is a lot of points to lay on a team there. Again, it's not enough to make me want to say, oh, well, I'll take the 9.5 with the Pelicans, like I took the +7 on the Timberwolves. But I just really don't want to lay 9.5. So I've kind of stayed away from that Phoenix thing. I've also kind of stayed away from the Phoenix side in general. I think a lot of guys in this team are going to get, you know, a decent amount of minutes, you know, 20 minutes to 30, 35 minutes for some of the starters, maybe. I just don't see a lot of upside here. I think Devin Booker is going to score a lot of points, but Devin Booker has a big player prop total. I think, you know, Chris Paul could get a lot of assists, but Chris Paul's assist number is pretty big. There just isn't a lot that stands out here as good bets when you're talking in the prop market. The only thing I do actually like is Jonas Valanciunas rebounds on the other side of this game. This opened at -110, and the lowest I can find, the over 12.5 rebounds right now, is -128 is the lowest number that's out there on the Jonas Valanciunas rebounds here. I think that's probably my favorite prop play for this game. I don't really like any of the props on the Phoenix side. Like I said, I agree with the numbers. I just don't think there's a lot of value there. Valanciunas is going to play 30 plus minutes in this game. And if he plays 30 plus minutes, he's got a chance for 15 or more rebounds here again. And at 12.5, I just felt that number was a little low. FanDuel actually moved this up to 13.5, and I think they have it like right around even money. Most of the other sites at this point have this at like 12.5, like -135, -140, -130. So the -128 we could get, I thought was the best number there. The over-under in this game is a 221.5 total. That number is basically everywhere at -110. So not really any advantage playing it on one side or another. 221.5, the consensus total for this game here. And then the final thing is the series price. The Suns up 1-0 already are -3,000 in the series. You can't really do anything with that. They're giving the Pelicans like what would that be there? Like a 3% chance to come back and win the series. And that's probably right. Maybe it's a little low, but I'm not betting on the Pelican side here. I mean, the Suns are likely to win this series. Even if they have an injury or two, I still think they're likely to win this series. So, you can't make any money betting -3,000, but that is the way to kind of go there. So there you go. That wraps it up for the NBA action here this morning. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back on the FTNBets Cast. Welcome back to the FTNBets Cast for Tuesday, April 19th here at FTNBets. We talked a little NBA action in the opening. Now we're going to talk a little bit of today's MLB action. First game up, we're going to talk about, actually, we have a couple double headers today. So let's start right there. Had a couple games that were rained out yesterday. The Diamondbacks are playing the Nationals today. Opening game, Madison Bumgarner taking on, what do we got? Bumgarner versus Gray in the opening game. Gilbert versus Adon in the second game. I don't know him too well. I think he's one of the young guys on the Nationals there. We'll have to look a little deeper into him there. The Nationals are the underdog, I think, in both of these games, or at least in the first game, they're going to be the underdog with Bumgarner on the mound. -120 on the Arizona side of this game over at DraftKings. Best price you can get on the Nationals, +100 for the early 1 o'clock game there. The Mets and Giants also have a doubleheader here today. Alex Cobb, Tyler Megill in the opener. And then we have Webb going up against Max Scherzer in the nightcap. The Mets are a big favorite in the second game. They're a smaller favorite in the first game, but they are favored in both of these at home. Two teams off to pretty good starts here. The Giants are 7-2 on the year. The Mets are 7-3 on the year. So this should be a pretty good doubleheader here today over in New York at Citi Field. Let's see, what else do we got here today? We can start talking about some of the games that were actually scheduled for 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. We'll start with the Chicago White Sox going up against the Cleveland Guardians here. Pretty good pitching matchup. Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the White Sox. Shane Bieber on the mound for the Guardians. This is one where I actually prefer the White Sox in this game. You can get them +122 on FanDuel is the best price we see on the Chicago White Sox here. Again, you guys know I'm super high on the White Sox this year, so anytime I can get them at plus money, I'm going to be interested. If you want to play Bieber as the favorite, -140, -135 on BetMGM is the best price you can get on the Cleveland side of this game if you're interested in playing Bieber there. Next game up is the New York Yankees taking on the Detroit Tigers. Garrett Cole on the mound for the Yankees. Garrett Cole has not been good. His ERA is 5.5, I think, so far in the early going. Definitely has not been a great season for him here. I mean, listen, I think the Yankees should win this game. I don't really love the fact that they're like a -230, -225 favorite with the way that, Garrett Cole is pitched. You can get them as low as -215 on Unibet if you're interested. But I actually think the better way to play this game, and I hate to say this as a Yankee fan, is probably on the Detroit Tigers side. +185, +190 on Caesars. Best price you can get on the Detroit Tigers. Like I said, it kills me to say this as a Yankee fan, but I don't think the Yankees should be -200 favorites against the Tigers here. If it was like -170-ish, that's probably more around fair value, which would mean that, the Tigers probably belong more around like +150. So +190, I think there's a lot of value there on the Tigers side if you're interested in going that route. Next game up, we got the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Miami Marlins here. Adam Wainwright on the mound for the Cardinals. Luzardo on the mound for Miami. Pretty good pitching matchup here. This is actually a pretty even game. Caesars has this. PointsBet does too at -110, -110 on both sides. If you're interested in the Marlins side, the best price you can get is -102 over on FanDuel. Best place to play them. The St. Louis Cardinals -110 on PointsBet, and Caesars is the best price you can get there. -115, -118 in other places. -110, lowest price on the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's see. Let's go to the next game here. Toronto Blue Jays against the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox are at home. The Red Sox are favored here. The Red Sox deserve to be favored here. I don't really think there's any value on either side of this game. minus 145 all the way down to minus 137 on Unibet. Best price here. Sugar House Bet Rivers also at minus 137 on the Boston Red Sox. If you want to play the Toronto side of this game, plus 120 is what we're seeing in most of the market. Plus 124 on FanDuel is the best price there if you're on the Toronto Blue Jays side. Next game up, Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers. Brew Baker going up against Corbin Burns here. Burns yet to have a win this year, but 2.25 ERA is pretty sparkling. So he has pitched pretty well. Brew Baker, on the other hand, has an ERA over 9. The Pirates don't hit very well. You know, Milwaukee, you can get minus 275 all the way down to minus 250 on BetMGM. I love the Brewers here today. I think they win. Minus 250 is a big number to take. They probably cover it, but it's not a number that I'm willing to go on. If you want to bet the Pirates, you can get them plus 225 on FanDuel is the best price. But again, I mean, I don't really want to be on the Pirates side of this game. I think Milwaukee wins. So this is one I'll stay away from. I just don't think the payoff's good enough for me to take that chance. Next game up, Tampa Bay Rays against the Chicago Cubs. The Rays are 5-6. The Cubs are 6-4 in the early going here. Steele on the mound for the Cubs. Whistler on the mound for Tampa Bay. Really good pitching matchup. Two guys that have been pretty lights out here to start the season. Let's see. The Cubs are even money on FanDuel plus 100, basically minus 105 in most other books out there. So, you know, you're getting a little bit of a discount if you like the Cubs today over on FanDuel. As for the other side of this game, minus 120 down to minus 115. There's a lot of minus 115s in the market. DraftKings, BetMGM, PointsBet, Caesars, Unibet, Bet Rivers, Sugar House, all minus 115 here today. So that's the price to play the Tampa Bay side on. I do think this game is pretty evenly matched. I do think Tampa Bay deserves to be a slight favorite. So I think, you know, they probably deserve to be a little bit bigger favorite than minus 115, but not by much here. So there is a little value on the Tampa side, although I didn't really play it, but I do think there's a little bit of value there. Not enough to get me excited, but you know, that is the team more likely to win here. Next game up, we got the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Astros. Sandoval versus Valdez is the pitching matchup in this one. Astros are favored, and rightfully so. Minus 160 is the high number. Minus 150 on DraftKings is the low number. I don't hate that number. I think there's a little bit of value there on that side. For the Angels, you can get them plus 125, plus 130, plus 140 on Caesars is the best price to play the Los Angeles Angels here. Like I said, I lean a little more to the Houston side, even at minus 150. Not the greatest payout, but I do think that is probably where the value is. Minnesota Twins against the Royals here today. We got Archer against Hernandez is the pitching matchup. Hernandez with an 80 ERA on the season so far. Not a very good pitcher. I actually like Minnesota in this game. Minus 120 is the high. Minus 115 is the low. You can get that on BetMGM, PointsBet, or Caesars here if you're looking to bet on Minnesota as a road favorite. If you want to bet on the home dog here, minus 105, plus 100. There's a couple plus 100s out there for the Royals. You can get them. DraftKings, FanDuel, DraftKings, FanDuel, Bet Rivers, and Unibet all have them at even money plus 100 for the Kansas City Royals if you're interested in taking that side of the game. And that brings us to our last game, Coors Field game here between the Philadelphia Phillies and Colorado Rockies. Philly is the favorite in this game. We got Kyle Gibson going up again. We got Gibson against Freeland in this game. Let's see. What's the number here that we could look at for the Phillies? Minus 140, minus 134 on Bet Rivers and Sugar House. Bet Rivers if you're in Pennsylvania, Sugar House if you're in New Jersey, whichever one your state has in the other states. That's the best price we can get there. BetMGM has them at minus 135 too. So right in line with the minus 134 over on Bet Rivers, Sugar House. That for the Philadelphia Phillies, a deserving favorite in this game. Colorado Rockies, plus 110, plus 115, plus 120. DraftKings, FanDuel, and PointsBet all have this at plus 120. That's the best price if you want to be on the Rocky side. Like I said, though, I'd rather be on the Philly side if I'm interested there. Make sure you guys get over to FTN Bets right now. You could sign up using promo code Benny, save 20% off on any package, not only on FTN Bets, but also on FTN Daily and FTN Fantasy, wherever you want to go in the FTN family. Use promo code Benny. It'll save you 20% off. If any of the books I mentioned today are books that you don't have an account at yet, get over to FTNBets.com. FTNBets.com/sportsbooks. We have all the top sportsbook bonuses available, all of them listed on that page. You just click the link. It takes you right to the top bonus that you can get for that sportsbook. Sign up for your account, fund it, do all the things that you've done for all the other accounts you have. I honestly think it's a great idea for people. I have outs at 8 or 9 different books in New Jersey right now. I have accounts set up where if I go and I look and I see the best prices at Unibet or Sugar House or, DraftKings or FanDuel, whoever has the best price, you can go over, make sure you have some money in that account and make whatever bet you want to make sure you're getting the best price on it. Another little trick for everybody out there, leave the bulk of your money in your PayPal account. You can fund all of these sports books with your PayPal account. So if the bulk of your money is sitting in a PayPal account and you see that a line is really good somewhere else, even if you don't have money there, it's very easy to make a quick deposit from your PayPal account to whatever sports book you need to in order to make whatever bets you need. So that is your little tip of the day here from your boy Benny over at FTN Bets. And that is going to wrap it up for the Tuesday, April 19th edition of the FTN Bets Cast. Good luck, everybody.
Live from the new sports betting capital of the world.
You might be from Texas, but I'm from New Jersey.